Hello and how's it going YouTube? This is Najibu. Now, ever since Borderlands 3 released a couple of weeks ago, I've been playing it obsessively. I've been a fan of the looter shooter genre and have played all the major releases in the genre. Destiny, The Division, oh, except for Anthem, but I guess we can all agree to forget that game even existed. But none of those games managed to scratch the same itch that Borderlands 1 and 2 did for me. And now, 7 years after the release of Borderlands 2, we finally get a proper sequel, and it is glorious. Here are the 3 things that Borderlands 3 accomplishes very well and makes it such a great game. Number 1. Build diversity. I'm playing as Amara the Siren, which you're seeing on the gameplay video here. A few days ago, I was playing as a brawler who would rush in and punch the enemies into a bloody mess. Yesterday, I was a master of the elements, melting the enemies with a fire elemental gun as I locked them in place with my face grab ability. And today, I'm a shotgun wielding maniac who moves around like a bunny in heat. Except the shotgun is actually an SMG. Once I reached the level cap of 50, the game allows for an absurd amount of combinations of skills and guns. Sure, one can look at the internet for the most powerful character build, but to me, the fun in this game is discovering new loot and experimenting with different builds that is truly unique to my own personal playstyle. And speaking of the subject of loot, here's the next reason why Borderlands 3 is great. Number 2. Insane loot. One of the rewards of playing looters is getting those legendary drops. A gear or weapon that has unique properties that is unlike anything else in the game. In this regard, Borderlands 3 is heads and shoulders above any other games in the genre. You have an SMG that fires like a shotgun that I mentioned before. You have a handgun that can use up all 1000 ammo within like 3 minutes, dealing an outrageous amount of damage. You have grenades that can cause specific types of enemies to fight for you for a short amount of time. You even have a rocket launcher which shoots burgers. Yes, you heard me right, burgers. Well, there's also that one that shoots out poop too, but let's leave it at that. In other games, all those weapons I mentioned would be the most rare, legendary loots. Borderlands 3 has 5 tiers of loot based on their color: white, green, blue, purple and orange. And some of those loot I mentioned are just blue and purple loot, which is not the highest tier at all. There is just no shortage of tools given by the game to unleash mayhem. And that word, mayhem, is exactly the thing that makes Borderlands 3 great. And finally, number 3, complete and utter mayhem. While you can play Borderlands 3 conservatively by staying back and fighting from afar, for my money, the game is at its finest when I'm moving and weaving between the enemies as I unleash my tools of destruction on the enemy horde. The game is no pushover, especially in the endgame modes, the Proving Grounds and Circle of Slaughter. It will fill the screen with the toughest enemies that will truly test the effectiveness of your character build. Add in Mayhem mode, which ratchets up the difficulty quite considerably, and 3 other players to play with, Borderlands 3 easily becomes one of the most frenetic shooters out there. I mean, you can see for yourself the action that's going on screen right now. So there we have it. 3 things that makes Borderlands 3 great, at least for me. But that's not to say the game is perfect. Far from it, in fact. Borderlands 3 is marred by many little blemishes that unfortunately detracts it from its full potential. But perhaps I'll talk about it in a later video. Despite those blemishes though, Borderlands 3 is still an absolutely great game. I've said my piece, so what do you think about Borderlands 3? Love it? Hate it? Let me know in the comments below. This is Najibu and I'll see you in the next one.